And I think experiences are what's going forward. And so that's why you want to create it and try to get the most people into theaters. I mean, I think they think a lot of, people think no one wants to go to theaters anymore. I just disagree with that. I think that people do want to go out. They want to take their kids. They want to take their family to be able to go to stuff. And so I just want to be a part of creating that kind of world. And you're seeing it. I mean, you're seeing it today with 102,000 some people that are coming to this. It's unbelievable. And it's the best to be at these events.
So speaking of today, the most important question here, have you been practicing the most famous words in motorsports?
I did it. Last night, I was in Indianapolis last night doing a show. And so I ran a couple ideas by them in the crowd. Just because I thought at one point, I was like, all right, because as a comic, you want to get a joke in there everywhere. So I thought I was going to, first thought about doing like how many feet are in 500 miles. Nobody knows, which is reference to my George Washington sketch. That did not do as well with that crowd last night. And so luckily I tried it. And then I was going to do another one with Jimmy Johnson being older to let the younger drivers know that his left blinker will be on the whole race and just to ignore it. And that one did better. And then when I got here and talked about it, it's like, I think you just need to do normal, and so you have all these hopes and dreams to try to do something that's going to be funny and all this. And then I was fortunate enough to be with Kevin James last week, who's obviously got the best one. And so I think it's about just bringing that energy and just taking in that moment that it is. And I don't think I will be that much far off script, and just do the right thing. You want to just be, either memorable for good, or they forget you because you didn't mess anything up. So it's, hopefully it'll be, I think with this crowd, and the flyover and all of it, it's going to be insanity. So just, it's been a dream to be asked to do this. I watch a NASCAR and seeing Grand Marshals, and this is something you can never really imagine. It's not really even on your idea of that you could be asked to do it, but being asked to do it is very, very exciting.
Awesome. We're going to have time for a couple of questions for Nate. If you raise your hand, we'll get a wireless microphone to you. We'll start on the far left with Jeff, and then we'll go to John on the right.
Hey, what's up, Nate? My name's Jeff. You've seen drivers move up from the lower ranks to the big time, and you've gone from playing comedy clubs.
Lower rank. You wanted to say lower ranks. You guys, but you can say it. It was the lower ranks. Yeah.
What is the biggest difference when you get into a massive room like that, or, your life has changed now?
Yeah.
How do you have to change with that?
You try to make sure. I'm a big fan of awareness. So if you have awareness, I can tell that like this is not a normal experience. I mean, you guys understand this. Your kids, all of you being journalists, and you get to be around a lot of crazy stuff, and your kids are going to have experiences that most kids won't have, and the access. And so you want to make sure that you remember that. And a big part of it was I moved back home to Nashville. I was gone for about 13 years in Chicago, New York, and LA. And when we had our daughter, I wanted her to, we live in a cul-de-sac with our neighbors, and no one's really, famous in the cul-de-sac, like in the neighborhood. And I wanted her just to have as normal of a life that she could have. And even for my stand-up and writing, I didn't want to be out, because if you're in LA, you're just around a lot of crazy stuff. And so I wanted to be able to go home and be able to talk about family stuff and still be relatable. And so that's been a big part of it, just trying to stay ahead of that. I mean, this last hour I wrote, I knew we were going to be shooting this movie, so I made sure to try to really write the hour before the movie, just to, because I didn't want the next hour to be about making a movie. I want it to be about family and what I normally talk about. So you just become very aware of that, and then every time you kind of write an hour, you just, I don't know, like just try not to do, you go live life. That's the best thing for a comic, is go try to live a life. I always tell my wife I'll go to the grocery store only when I'm trying to find material. The other times I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm so busy. But then when I need material, I'm like, all right, let me go so I can see if something happens and get a joke out of it.
Go to John here on the right.
John Ubi Fanbuzz. So kind of going off of Jeff's question a little bit, you're now in this role where you're bringing a bunch of comedians with you when you're filling out arenas and all this different stuff.
Yeah.
So when you're surrounded by guys like Greg Warren or Derek Stroop or all these different people, how are you determining which ones are the best to bring for, you know, a massive stadium crowd, and which ones are the best for judging like a belly flop competition on a cruise?
Yeah. Derek Stroop's the best. We knew from the get-go he was going to be a good belly flop guy. But like, you know, with stand-up, when I started, I was in Chicago for a couple years, but then New York was really where I was at for a long time. And there was a system where you developed young comics. We had Comedy Central, so you would do Live at Gotham, where you do 8 minutes, and then you did a half hour, then you would do an hour special. And so there was really a process for comics to develop material. Now I think with younger and, you know, with this kind of social media influencing and all this kind of stuff, people are forced to have to create. I mean, you guys know creating content, you got to create it at all times. Everybody wants content. And when you do that, it's really impossible. No one can create this much content. It's just too hard of a thing to repeat. So now we've started, you know, we do this thing called the Showcase that I put on YouTube, and it's 8 minutes, and we've done hour specials. And I just want to create for stand-up comics a system again, something that they can rely on and really develop them and let them develop, because I think when you get it too quick, it's hard to keep that, because you just can, you know, experience is everything. And people want people to come up too quick. And I think that hurts the industry that we're in, even with Hollywood and movies and stuff like that. You're having people come up too quick, and then they're kind of in over their head just because they don't have the experience and they don't have to do it. So you want to, now with what we're doing is that I've created, our company is just try to make sure to be able to develop comedians and let them become better and give them more time, and to be able to rely and know that they can go work on it. So, and then who you pick, I mean, Greg Warren is a perfect example of someone he's been around for a long time. So you got guys that have been doing comedy for 25 years, 30 years, and you can bring those, and those guys just automatically, they just know what they're doing. They've been doing it for 30 years. So it's fun to be able to bring that back, and we do it in I have them all be TV clean. That's how I had to come up, and I think it's made stand-up more accessible. I think people used to be kind of nervous about stand-up because it was kind of labeled as it was this dirtiness, and so now it's like you want to just have an accessible way into stand-up comedy. I think stand-up comedy is going to really stand the test of time with AI and all this stuff. It's the most authentic thing you can do. It's me talking to an audience, and so make it accessible to enter into the world, and you can go discover more comics from there.
All right. Well, we have reached the end of our time with Nate. Nate, thanks so much for being here.
Absolutely.
And have fun with
It's
the
an
command
honor.
today.
Thank you. He's in the Breadwinner movie with me, so it's me and him. So if the movie goes bad, right there. Now it's on you. I've already said it. I know. I relied on you a lot. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to, but you're in the credits. I've told you, I mentioned it now. He goes, you know what, we're going to get you in the credits, even though the movie's already done. But, yeah, thank you guys very much for having me.